Inside PressBox is presented by Freedmont Mortgage. Don't make a 30-year mistake by choosing the wrong lender. Go to Freedmont.com now for all of your mortgage needs. Welcome to another edition of Inside PressBox. I'm your host, Stan the Fan Charles, a jam-packed show. The Ravens will play one of the biggest games of the season when they face the Steelers at Heinz Field this weekend. On Sunday night, PressBox Ravens reporter Joe Platania will join me along with Bill West, the host of the Purple Pride Report on Fox 1370 for some Ravens talk. Bernie Walter of the Maryland State Athletic Hall of Fame will be here to discuss this year's induction class, which has one of the most prestigious lineups in the Hall's history. But joining me first is that man, Danny Kelly, head coach of the Baltimore Blast, who kick off their season at home November 12th against the Syracuse Silver Knights, new to the league. But you're not new to the league, Danny Kelly. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Run us down real quick the changes in the league this year, because there are 3 new teams?
We got Syracuse, Rochester, Norfolk, and Wichita, who has been in the league in the past but haven't been for some time, but they're back in, along with Missouri, Milwaukee, and ourselves. So
all right.
Excited about the new teams for sure.
Some different traveling patterns and things of that nature.
Yeah, some bus trips. They're always fun, you know.
Now, one of the things is, and I know your goal would be to have maybe 12 or 14 teams and get back up to like a 40-game schedule, but incrementally you're up to 24 games this year, so you play 2 more home games, 2 more road games. Is that better for the quality of play the more games players play?
I think for sure. I think the most valuable thing in indoor soccer is experience. Everybody's always looking for experienced players they can add to their team, and the only way you get experience is by playing the game. And the past few years where we haven't had the number of teams that we've wanted, obviously players aren't getting experience. So we're all for more teams and more games, and hopefully we get back up to that 40-game season.
One of the things you mentioned when you say experience, since the end of last season, you've lost Robbie Aristodemo, Billy Nelson, help me out, the third player that retired.
Juliano Salenza.
Salenza, and the previous year, Denison Cabral.
Yeah. So
that's 4 big-time players who had a wealth of experience. How are you making up for that this year?
It's not easy. It's that's a lot of years of experience. All those guys were key components of the Blast winning multiple championships.
Is that where Danny Kelly gets back on the floor?
No, you won't see that. You won't see that. Maybe if you come watch training, you'll see me on the floor. But just trying to find young guys that we can develop, and a couple guys, local guys that are coming into the squad. Akira Fitzgerald, who's a goalkeeper from Loyola Blakefield, went to Wake Forest. Mike Diesel, who we recently signed out of Loyola Blakefield and Loyola College as well. I'm a big proponent of developing your own guys, and Baltimore has been, a hot spot for developing indoor soccer players. All the guys at UMBC that we had, Juliano Salenza, you mentioned, PJ Wakefield, Billy Nelson as well. We got to bring those guys, those players like that, develop them through the system and get them on the field. And like you said, those years of experience that those guys had, it's a tremendous loss for us, but the test for us is can we find players to fill those holes?
How about the guys that are there ready to step into those leadership roles? The guys like Millwood and Lookingland.
That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
Robbie was our captain, and obviously we have to select a new captain this year, which we haven't done yet. But, as I've told the guys on numerous occasions, it's not just the guy wearing the armband that can be a leader out there. You need more than one leader on the floor. And sometimes it's not the guy who's the most vocal, sometimes the guy leading by example. We need multiple leaders. We need guys to step up to fill the shoes, vacated by those guys that you mentioned.
Now, I know it's a little different in the MISL than the NFL, but you have Mike Shanahan's the head coach at the Washington Redskins. He's got either 1 or 2 of his sons on his staff. Now, you're slightly in the middle there. You don't have any of your children on the staff or on the team, but your boss, Kevin Healy's son, is on the team. Has that ever created any awkward situations?
None at all, none whatsoever. It's strictly, with Pat Healy, Kevin's son, it's strictly professional. He made the team on his own merits, not because Kevin was the general manager. And he's earned his playing time based on his own ability, not from what, because of any family ties there. Pat going back to his college career, he was, Conference Player of the Year in the Colonial Athletic Association, came into the team, earned his way through his hard work, and wound up being Rookie of the Year. Last season, he was, if I'm not mistaken, either second or first leading scorer on the team. So he's done it all by himself.
What changed about him? What did the game slow down for him last year? Because all of a sudden he became a very dynamic scorer.
I think so. I think in indoor, we were talking about experience. I think, a lot of guys do not feel comfortable, don't think they have the game until after their rookie year. So I think after that, your first season, I think you get a hang of the game and the nuances of the game and the little things that you can only get through playing. And I think for a lot of guys, their second year is really a telltale year as far as where they're going to go. And Pat showed you, that his game is, he keeps elevating his game.
One of the things about this league with so many changes, franchises and all that, do you have a sense of where the Blast fit in? In other words, or do you need to see the league and what these other teams have before you can determine how good your team will be?
I really just focus on preparing us and all the things that we need to do, we need to get better at, starting at just being fundamentally sound in all facets of the game, and then going from there. Obviously, there comes a time during the year where we're watching other tapes and watching other teams, but for right now, I know what we have, I know what we're capable of. It's about how can I get this team to where it needs to be, and it's one step at a time, one training session at a time, making sure we cover all our bases about doing the little things well. And then come game time, can we put what we've worked on in the practice field into the game?
It starts November 12th, Danny. I mean, it starts a little before that. You play a road game first, but November 12th here in Baltimore. Thank you very much. You can see the best of Division III men's basketball throughout the state at the Pride of Maryland tournament, proudly sponsored by the Maryland Lottery. The tournament begins Tuesday, November 15th. Go to prideofmaryland.com now for the complete schedule.